Hello everyone. After watching Sheer Momentum's video on why she is a geek, that inspired me to say why I am a geek/nerd/insert name for socially odd individual here. Either way, let's get started. Yep. I have lots of information in subjects most people wouldn't expect an adolescent to be interested in. For example, despite disliking my biology class, I did enjoy most of the topics covered in biology such as taxonomy, viruses and bacteria. I also enjoy studying the origin of certain religious ceremonies and practices as well as history, nutrition, and other miscellaneous topics. Oh yes, I have a niche for history and memorizing dates, historical or otherwise. Because of this, I was good at history in school. I have also memorized many dates from sports. Even if I forget the exact date, I remember the years very well. For example, who won the 2000 Heisman Trophy? If you answered Chris Winkie, you are right. Lots of people I know have commented in my remarkable memory. While I am interested in other things other than anime and manga, such as sports, music, and cars, I also know a lot about anime and manga. Generally, I'm not your typical anime/manga fan. I am highly selective. Also, I'm not a fan of most of today's mainstream anime, like Bleach or Naruto. If I find an anime or manga that interests me, I intensely study and screen it. I try to get enough information about the characters, plot, and themes before committing interest in a title. As far as manga goes, I have a relatively small manga collection compared to other manga enthusiasts, a total of 39 books, but one thing I enjoy is looking at scanlations. Those are translated page scans from manga books, in case you didn't know. I've done two fanfiction stories centering around Digimon, called the Murderous series, but I haven't submitted them to any fanfiction-related websites. However, I've recently considered writing new fanfiction centering around my current interests in anime/manga. One more thing before covering the next topic, my other interests sometimes combine with my interest in Japanese animation. In fact, after learning about taxonomy in biology, I thought about doing biological profiles in various species of Pokemon, detailing their habitat, diet, habits, predators, food, and risks they pose to humans. I suppose my social awkwardness can also be considered a rebellion against certain aspects of pop culture I don't care for. While my Asperger's provides most of my social awkwardness, I am also dissatisfied with a good deal of modern pop and teen culture. I don't enjoy rap very much, with exceptions, where I find suitable. I'm disappointed with how pop music is turning out nowadays. I couldn't care less about fashion. I strongly dislike SpongeBob SquarePants. I don't like a lot of movies that come out and become popular nowadays. Basically, some of my social awkwardness is to show dissatisfaction with youth and pop culture with a minimum of disrespect to other people. Instead of complaining about my dislikes constantly, I just march to beat of a different drum, so to speak. While there are several thousand people with a larger vocabulary than myself, I still have an unusual vocabulary compared to most teens. I use words most teens nowadays don't commonly use, for example, jargon. Some terms I use are outdated slang. I also know the origin of some words just by listening to how they are pronounced. Nothing too special, but still somewhat unordinary. I am on the computer. A lot. While I don't have as big an obsession with motorsports as I did in middle school, I still remember a lot from those days and have gotten into lots of other new and interesting motorsports, like drifting. I can also identify lots of cars and drivers from when I was interested based on specific details, like, for example, I can identify a year when certain pictures were taken based on specific details in a car. I am the only person I know of who has downloaded, or even knows for that matter, what Speakonia is. Along with that, I'm probably the only person I know of that has wanted a text-to-speech program for their computer. Yeah, I know, Windows Movie Maker is basic, but it's all I have for now. I've made several fake movie trailers as well as humorous compilations of movie/TV show sound bites with random pictures. I also like to toy around with several different programs in my computer. I am a fan of Birdie the Mighty, both the OVA and TV series. One day, while I was bored in algebra class, I drew up a compare and contrast chart for the Birdie the Mighty OVA and Birdie the Mighty Decode. Sometimes, I think I take my work too seriously, but I really have a passion for doing my work and doing a good job at it. I strive for good grades. I am immersed in internet culture. I know a lot about internet jargon and phrases such as, all your base are belong to us, Raflal, WTF, WTHOMG, you get the idea. And with that being said, let me say this, my rafflecopter goes swa 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 swa. Ha 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 ha, such fun. Yes, I do have other books and magazines beside ones about anime and manga. Most of my books are about sociology, psychology, motorsports, cars, and video games. While I haven't submitted any downloads to any Need for Speed-related sites, nor have I created any downloads, I am practically an expert on old Need for Speed games, especially high stakes. I hold to 80s and 90s in high regards, as two of my favorite decades for American pop culture. I love 80s pop music and 90s culture. Also, thanks mostly in part to research VH1 and HomsterRunner.com, I know quite a bit about those decades in pop culture.